Hey everybody, it's Clark from Clark's Cosplays, and today I'm going to show you how I did the camera and goggle setup for my Lord Shaxx. Look, it's me. Previous video, I showed how I did the finish work, taking it from a raw print to the painted and weathered. The whole process about doing that. But for this video, it's going to be how I did the glasses, the video, the goggles. I'll show you how I did it. I'll put some links about where you can find some of the things for it as well. Most of it's unfortunately going to be kind of up to the eBay gods of what they have available. Now, I know in the past I showed how I painted it all and finished it all up. And of course, people had questions both when I debuted this at DragonCon and since. How do I actually see out of this? And as you may know, these files are from Galactic Armory, and they did their own build video of the helmet, which gave me some ideas about what to do, because I'd always been one of the setbacks to doing this type of helmet is the fact that you can't see. You know, Lord Shaxx, most Titan helmets, a lot of those types of helmets in other games as well. You know, your character can see perfectly, but you look at the helmet and there's no lenses, there's no visuals, there's no nothing. So I did look at doing screen, like an actual, you know, cell phone sized screen. That is a possibility to do in other builds, but the amount of space I had in the Lord Shaxx helmet would not allow me to do that. So what we did for this is very much taken from what Galactic Armory did with theirs. As you can see here, this is just a little camera. All it is a small camera lens for like a CCTV. Very basic, inexpensive. Has a plug for a battery pack, as well as connectors, your basic RCA, you know, yellow video, and then left and right audio. Obviously, there's no speaker, so it's just the video. What I did for this is, as you can see, inside the helmet, I have pads, padding in here. Horn is open on this side. Not on that side is closed up, but the horn is open here. I have Velcro, one USB fan. In the future, we'll probably end up adding another fan because it got a little toasty in there, but unlike other helmets that have lenses like Master Chief or anything else like that, I don't so much need the fans to prevent fogging. It's more so for comfort. And to power the fan, USB. I have this battery pack here attached with Velcro. It's just, you know, a basic portable battery pack for like your cell phones. This pack here is the one for the camera. It has a very specific plug for it. And this one is a smaller pack. I think it's about either 2,700 or 3,000 milliamp hours or whatever you call it. Works fine for the camera. The camera does not have a lot of draw to it. I've never had any issue with running out of the juice. Of course, after every time I wear the helmet out and get back to the room, I'd plug it all in to charge. Same with all my other battery packs. As you can see, this end is, I can plug it in to charge it. This end up top here plugs into here. This powers the camera. What I ended up doing is using the video goggles from back in the late 2000s, you know, early 2010s. They were really popular for, you know, watching stuff on your iPod, you know, your Zunes, your, you know, anything like that. So like, this is one version I initially got. It's from Vuzix Eyewear. The one that I ended up using in the helmet is the same company. It's just a slightly newer, slightly better, a more thinner profile than what this one has. I got this off eBay for less than $50, and you know, there were glasses, so I ended up taking off the, you know, little earpieces. But for this particular build, as you can see, it's a little bit chunky. I did not have enough space to use these ones in this helmet. However, they can be used in other helmets in the future or other projects in the future. But the one I ended up using, again, I'll have a link to it or mentioned in comments. I believe it was the Vuzix either 230 or 310. They look more like sunglasses, you know, complete with actual sunglass lenses. so you don't look like as much of a dork while you're wearing them. You know, they're easy to take off. If you pop those off, I popped, you know, the earpieces come off relatively easily. You know, the view part with the little TV screens inside of it is more easily able to pop off from the lenses and the little sunglass frame. So it's got much smaller profile and able to fit inside the helmet, which I'll show. The resolution on those is a little bit better than on this other one here. Not by much, because this is still late 2000s, early 2010 tiny TV screen resolution. Comparable resolution, I think, was maybe 720. Was what they were trying to say. It's like watching a 720 TV from, you know, it's a 55-inch from 10 feet away. So essentially, if you're watching a TV in your living room. So it's not the best, but it works. This piece here, Velcroed in. I have Velcro on the soft ends here that attach in here, so that way I can make adjustments if I need to like recenter it or shift it up or down for comfort and visibility. And inside here is a very scientific. So what I ended up doing is shoving all these wires into the horn to save space. All right, so now that I have this separated, these plugs here are for the camera. This is what plugs into the battery. This is what plugs into the glasses. In order to make that work, because this is the pack for the glasses, this runs off of one AA battery. I did have to change this out in the middle of the DragonCon floor. I got the little low battery indicator, and we had to run back to the room to grab a battery. And that, I mean, it lasted about maybe 3 to 4 hours. So it lasted a good bit. And of course, with this whole setup, it's one of those things where it could probably last longer if I could access this more easily and turn it off and on. But I just turned it on, put the helmet on, and anytime I need to take the helmet off, it would just still be running. This is the audio ports for it. This is the video port. I had to get a little adapter so that it would work together. All you got to do is just plug that in. I'm debating just kind of getting rid of some of these other extra cords. I could probably just cut them off. I don't need these cords either. My only concern and worry is if I do that, if it like the system realizes something and it just shuts the whole thing off. So I'm a little hesitant to do that. However, it's a possibility I might look into. But what I ended up doing, and I don't want to take too much of this out because of how I have it set up. So these glasses are the video glasses. There are much better options out here now. Galactic Armory just did a new build with the Yokai Spartan, where they used a much higher quality camera, higher quality goggles, more for like your FPV drone goggles. Those take up a lot more space and they cost more. This one that I used for this, I bought off eBay. I think they were selling it for 100, and I did a best offer for like 70 or something like that. They are removable, like I showed with the Velcro. So if I wanted to, I could take it off and use them on any other builds. It's not permanently in here. This little Velcro, where this padding is on there on Velcro, and it's kind of holding the wire in place. But, and like I said, it's taped in there. This is really professionally done. That being said, it's something that I could take off and put to something else. The visibility is decent. The color is a little off, and I think that might just be because of the camera that I used. You know, anybody that's done anything, if you've served in the military and done anything with night vision goggles, the very common goggle option is a 2-to-1, like binocular vision into either one single tube or just a monocular goggle where you just have one single tube. Either way, when you only have one lens, one camera thing that you're looking through, you have no depth perception. That's the concept of this. There's only one camera, so it's essentially you're walking around with one eye closed. So it's enough to get around. However, I highly recommend if you do anything like this and you're moving through large crowds, such as the Marriott on a Friday or Saturday, you have a handler to help you go through, or you just take your helmet off. I was doing a little bit of both. I could stand when I was standing there. I actually had a funny interaction with somebody. When I was standing there in the Marriott, they were trying to figure out how I could see, and they kept moving, side to side, and I kept tracking them with my head, and they were very confused and kind of freaked out by that because I couldn't tell how I could see them and I was just watching them. So you can see, you can identify people, you can see things, you can still pick up and grab things and touch things. It just takes a little bit of effort. A lot of times when I'm doing stuff, what I end up having to do is essentially bring my hands up into my field of view and then be able to reach for what I was doing. So that's how I can see out through here. I can show a little demonstration of what I can see. Glasses are on. Everything's plugged in. Battery's plugged in. So you can actually see pretty good. Like I said, the color's a little, a little off. It's not quite as vibrant. Obviously, between the camera not being high definition and the glasses not being high definition, but you can see pretty well. You can see enough to move around. My assorted projects that I'm still working on my little table. All in all, it works well. Might try and do a better way than just kind of shoving everything into the horn. It works. And having the battery pack for the USB fan on the opposite side of that horn helps to balance the weight. The way I have this set up, it's, I used like bicycle helmet pads kind of a thing. There's no little head harness in there. It's all just sitting on it. Even without anything in the horns, one horn is broken, one horn is full, so it already has a tilt in that direction. So then when you shove all of the batteries into that, that's going to add even more weight. So counterbalancing, for me, I ended up counterbalancing with the battery pack. Another option is just adding other things of weight in there. And if this, if that battery pack wasn't enough, just add other things in there. You can actually, buy specific weights they make for different things, or you could just, put stuff in there, or just pad it on the one side to have the padding and keep it up. The reason I don't fully like using that is because then that can create hot spots because it's just the friction of the foam on your head. And that's definitely something you want to be keeping in mind while you're making these builds, because having hot spots and things like that is going to cause you to not want to wear your suit as long. It's going to cause discomfort, and it's just going to be just lasting. So, as part of the comfort, reducing hot spots, keeping everything balanced on your head. But if anybody has any questions, you can ask me here, reach out to me. Follow me on YouTube, Clark's Cosplays, Instagram, Clark's Cosplays, TikTok, Clark's Cosplays, and Facebook, Clark's Cosplays. You can reach out to me on any of those. I'm more active on Instagram and TikTok than I am on some of the others. I try and keep up to date with stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to get more videos up there on YouTube, and answering people's comments and things like that. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Looking forward to doing more builds like this. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for more updates on future builds, and be sure to follow me here on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok.